course, together with Mr. Walekwa is Ms. Brenda Nakaziwe, and she's the chairperson, organizing committee of National Science Week. And Nakaziwe, Brenda, you're also very welcome.
Thank you very much, UBC. Good morning, viewers.
Well, I'm happy to have both of you now. Let's first of all understand this. You are from the Ministry of STI, Office of the President. And just help us understand, what's the difference between this ministry and the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovations, also the ministry that was headed by Dr. Elioda at that time? Mr. Walekwa.
Okay, thank you so much, moderator.
Thank you.
And good morning, UBC viewers, and good morning, everyone. Like he has introduced the topic today, we shall be talking about the National Science Week preparations that are ahead of us. But he raises a very important question. Now, the ministry that Honorable Elioda Tumwesije was heading as a cabinet minister was called the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. And it was formed in 2016. So recently, in June this very year, when His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda appointed Honorable Dr. Monica Musenero Masanza to be the minister.
I call her Dr. Triple M.
Right, and that's true. So when she was appointed as a minister, for the naming was changed to Science, Technology and Innovation, Office of the President, serviced through State House Comptroller. Okay. So that meant that that earlier ministry, which was standing alone, has now been shifted
to OP,
to Office of the President.
Okay.
So we are still in the transition. Okay. That process is going on of shifting from the former MOSTI to Office of the President. That the process is still going on. So since July, it is still going on, and hopefully it will be finished soon.
What happened to the agencies that were under that ministry? There was KMC, there was PB, there was URI, there was I don't remember all of them.
Yeah.
There was PB of Maranga, there was URI, there was KMC, Kira Motors Corporation, and the others. What happened to them now? Are they still under the same docket, or they've relocated?
So what happened is that when that pronouncement came in, the Honorable Dr. Monica Musenero Masanza began working with them immediately. And so as I speak right now, Kira Motors Corporation, Uganda Industrial Research Institute, Presidential Scientific Initiative on Epidemics, that's PRESIDE.
That's a new one now.
That's a new one. It was formed last year, and it's the one which Honorable Monica Musenero was heading last year before she was given this new assignment. So PRESIDE. Then there is the PIBID, which is headed by Professor Florence Maranga. And then we have Uganda National Council of Science and Technology.
Oh yes, then Uganda National Council for Science and Technology.
So all those, we are working with them in this new arrangement of STI, Office of the President. So the entire, like I told you, we are still in the transition, but for now, Honorable Monica Musenero is working with them already. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's very important, because that's all innovation. And thank you so much, Mr. Walekwa, an epidemiologist. And okay, because I was trying to place you into that's a ministry, but you can't have Dr. Musenero there, another very senior epidemiologist, and don't have Walekwa here. Nakaziwe, come to the conversation. We talk about the National Science Week. We know that 10th November is normally celebrated worldwide as the National Science Day. You are the chairperson of the organizing committee of these particular activities happening. Get us through what is actually happening, and what should the public understand or know about the National Science Week.
Thank you very much, moderator. Once again, good morning, Uganda. Good morning, friends of Uganda. Good morning, the world. So, National Science Week these are activities that are preceding the World Science Day for Peace and Development, like you have actually mentioned. It was begun in 1937 by the United Nations Education and Culture Organization, UNESCO. Our very own country also actually recognizes science as one of the major drivers for socio-economic transformation. Through our constitution, through the NDP3, through the Vision 2040, and all the documents or the strategies that have been put in place. So the National Science Week, Uganda has chosen not only to commemorate the day next week on Wednesday as she joins the rest of the world, but to start with a series of activities. And you've already seen some of them. UBC has been very cardinal in publicizing this. We started with actually unveiling the National Innovators Awards. We started by calling on nominations to be submitted to the platforms we gave, opening it on the 15th of October through to the 24th of October. We were overwhelmed, we were overjoyed, and we congratulate everyone that was able to successfully send in or nominate an innovator, a scientist. And then we went to the other level of shortlisting, where on Monday we were all at Makerere, all eyes on Uganda, as actually our innovators, the best 6 from the different industrial value chains that I'm going to talk about shortly, were actually able to pitch before expert panels of judges. We had the Honorable Monica Musenero herself actually launching the pitching. We had Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, thank you so much for hosting us. And that's where we were, at the Central Teaching Facility 2, and we had a very great day.
Okay.
Yesterday at the press conference, you actually saw our successful best 3, and then from there the voting has begun, and we are now getting into another series of activities where we are going to have what we call, we are going to create an awareness on Friday to the nation on the new strategic direction of the ministry, like Abel has actually been explaining.
Okay.
The country is going to be able to know how the ministry is going to run, how STIOP is going to run. Yes.
How long have you been celebrating this particular day, or the week itself, and preceding, of course, the International Science Day, or Day of Science? How have you been celebrating it, and does it sound strange to the people? Do they know what has been happening, or this is a new thing? Somebody may think we're celebrating this maybe because we are transiting from one ministry into another, or just because we now have a new ministry that is charged with science, technology, and innovations. Mr. Walekwa.
Yeah, thank you so much once again. And like my colleague has clearly stated, you realize that it began in 1937 some time ago, and therefore for the Ugandan context here, we jumped on the road around 13 years ago, and by that time it was championed by Ugandan National Council of Science and Technology, and it took us for some time until 2017, when MOSTI, which you just mentioned earlier on, the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, which had been formed in 2016, took over the mantle in 2017. And so since even from 2017, these celebrations have been going on.
Okay.
And so us, as STI, Office of the President, we are already having a stepping stone. We are building on what has been going on. Okay. So I'm sure the public, and actually they have been participating in these events before, like for example, the one for 2020, amidst COVID-19, but we're able to celebrate it at Chambogo University.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's understand one thing now. We talk about the National Science Week, and President Museveni has lately praised and talked about science, science, science. And we've also had issues of science teachers and arts teachers, science students and art students. But what is science? Somebody may want to know. What is science in this particular case? Because when you talk about science, majority of the people look at medicine or health. What is science, Mr. Walekwa?
Yeah, thank you so much. You raise a very important question. Science is broad. I want to begin from there. And actually, if you only narrow it to medical, you will have left out a big chunk of many people who are studying living things. So science is broad. I want to just simplify and say people who study agriculture, for example, that is science. People who study engineering, that is science. People who study any health-related course, that is science. People who study natural sciences courses, for example, botany, for example, zoology, for example, industrial chemistry, that is all science. People who study education and do science-related courses like biology, like chemistry, like physics, like mathematics, those are all scientists. By the way, we have what we call social scientists as well. So they also qualify to be scientists. So for us,
political scientists.
Exactly. So for us at STI, actually our definition of science is broad.
Okay.
It's really, really broad, and we want to encourage everyone to come on board without really leaving anyone behind. Yeah.
Okay. So what we aim to achieve when we talk about the National Science Week, when we get into these celebrations, what are we aiming at achieving from these series of activities? Before I come to Nakaziwe.
Yeah. Thank you so much, moderator. Really, when we began the preparations for the National Science Week, but also the World Science Day, which is going to happen on 10th of November, like you clearly stated, we set out a number of achievements, a number of objectives that we really want to pursue in this period. And indeed, we are happy that UBC, you've been supportive, and I'm sure with you and other stakeholders we will achieve these objectives. One, we wanted to showcase a number of innovations, a number of prototypes, and we wanted to scatter across the entire country and know where they are. And you know what, Senior? We are almost achieving that. In the Uganda Innovation Awards alone, we're able to attract 165 innovators talking about different ideas. And you know what? They are coming from over 40 districts. And we are spread from all over the country. So we have Kanungu, we have Barara, we have Butaleja, we have Chenjojo, we have Mbale, we have Kampala. Of course, Kampala had the highest number of innovators. Actually, it contributed 41% of the list that was submitted. So the first objective was for us to profile, but also know various innovations wherever they are. Why? As STI Office of the President, we want to support those innovators progress on the innovation ladder. I'm going to talk about the innovation ladder later on. But there is an innovation ladder that an innovator or somebody who has come up with a new idea has to go through. And so we wanted to identify them, and that one is going on very well. The second thing we wanted to showcase, we wanted to show the ability and the capacity that the country has in relation to science. What do we have? Be it natural resources like these plants that are all over. We have defined species here in the country, and you know what? We can take advantage of that. We also have expertise, human capital expertise. So we have professors, we have scientists, we have innovators, we have IT teams everywhere. So we wanted to show the whole world that actually Uganda has this potential. The third thing we wanted to do is to show the country the new strategic direction of STI Office of the President. Where are we heading? With this transition that is going on, what next? And that's what my colleague Brenda was talking about. the industrial value chains and so forth. So we are going to talk about that. Now, in the theme days that she talked about from Friday until Tuesday next week, we will be having deliberate talks, deliberate discussions with panel experts in those fields, trying to dissect the new direction which we are taking and what it means to the country and how where everyone can join in to contribute. So the last objective we had, we also wanted to profile and launch books which have been authored and written by Ugandan scientists. Senior, I want to shock you that we have a number of prominent and senior researchers in this country. They have written books.
Good publications.
Yeah. And actually, so for our focus in this National Science Week for this year, we are going to target the books which have been written by Ugandan scientists. We are having a conversation with one of the renowned scientists called Professor Enos Chiremire, and he has over 70 books written in his area of expertise. He's a professor of chemistry. He has been all over the country, and so actually we are beginning with his book, but also we are calling upon other scientists who have authored books, and if they are interested for us to launch them on the World Science Day, we will be happy to include them on the program, and we can have them captured as well. The purpose is we want to encourage Ugandans to use Ugandan-made products.
Thank you, Mr. Walekwa. Nakas, we'll pick it up from here, just talking about the book launch, and there's so many books that have been published. I didn't know that we have somebody who has published 70 books in this country. But I'll of course also tell you, it's not just a Ugandan problem, but it's an African problem. If you want to conceal or hide stuff away from Ugandans or Africans, please put them in a book. Now, don't you think that Professor Chiremire has actually hidden away all this value and the game from us? Let's talk about that and also see how that helps and enables us as we also talk about the National Science Week. How important are these books, the launches, and the publications that we are talking about?
Thank you very much. Indeed, this is the break of a new dawn, a new strategic direction, encouraging our scientists from the lowest of levels to the highest levels. We've been profiling really our innovators, like you've seen them. The youngest this time, the youngest nominee is actually 9 years. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9.
Exactly. So seeing this and encouraging others, other scientists, other innovators, wherever they are, maybe we are going to really do away with such adages that have come through about Africans not reading. So that doesn't take away the fact that we have scientists that have written and their books are actually very useful. So the Science Week comes in, our strategic direction is along 6 prioritized industrial value chains. As STIOP, Science, Technology and Innovation Office of the President. We are looking at 1, the pathogen economy. You have heard His Excellency actually talk about it. For a long time, most of Africa has actually not benefited from especially the pharmaceutical world. I came across statistics that were showing that we're actually only contributing 0.1% as Africa to the pharmaceutical industry.
Is that so? Globally?
Yes.
0.1%?
Yes.
With all these medicines that we produce?
Do we produce?
I thought so.
That is how the situation is. That's how the picture is.
And what we produce is not even 1%. This is the contribution to the...
Yes.
Okay.
So, what are we doing with this? We want to produce our very own vaccines, very own medicines, what we call therapeutics, very own testing kits. Talking about testing kits, let me talk about the pandemic. You see the PCR, at least somehow most of us, okay, the three of us here, I believe, have actually undergone the COVID test, not once, not twice.
I've done it 16 times.
You counted.
I have done 16 PCRs.
Exactly.
I take note whenever I do it.
Wow.
16 PCRs. PCR tests also.
Exactly. So talking pathogen economy, we have scientists, a team of scientists that were first identified and mobilized on the Preside platform last year that are actually ready to produce. The science is ready, and now we are getting to the manufacturing of the factory, the construction of the factory, where the manufacturing will actually now begin of our very own here. Talking about therapeutics, still through this era of COVID last year, we have a scientist, we know her rather, with her team, and on the 27th of NECRI, Dr. Nambatya, and then the other one is Professor Joloba, the PCR kit. Dr. Nambatya with her team, on the 27th of January, His Excellency, the President, actually launched what we call the UBV, Uganda's first ever clinical trial of natural products, and we are waiting for the results. The Honorable Minister yesterday alluded to it at the press conference at the Uganda Media Center. Talking about vaccines, we have 4 candidate vaccines already, and they're at animal trials. The Honorable Minister still was explaining that. So pathogen economy, animal, plant, human health. Go to the digital economy. This is also another strategic direction. We are looking at interventions that are digitally linked to actually make service provision even better. Our very own systems developed here, where we are in control, where data is controlled here and not elsewhere, and which we are able to now use and actually respond to emergencies and other solutions. And then we have the beauty and apparel. It's another is prioritized industrial value chain.
Beauty and what?
And apparel. So with this, we are looking at beauty products that are safe, that have gone through the science. Scientists are putting heads together to ensure that our skins are safe, and the hair products, the skin products, we are having dermatologists in there to ensure that all this is well. Go to the natural resources that we have, like the banana. Uganda is among the highest grower of bananas. And what are we using? This God-given, where we have actually a comparative advantage. Well, how are we using it? We are getting fabric from there, and we are putting scientists together. The bamboo, there's a lot we can do with it, even in the area, and not to mention cotton itself and others as the research goes on. Talk about the agro-security. Right at the national planning level, ultimately, the goal is actually to increase income at the household level. So when we talk about agro-security, how are we coming in to support the parish model? How are we coming in to introduce easy-to-use technologies? For a long time immemorial, we've actually used the whole, our grandmothers, our great-great, nkolera kida kyonka, you see?
And gotten stuck in a kida chonka. The Walek was there now.
So really here we go, and we want to improve, want to create these synergies where we can have our people improve. And then finally, mobility. For this industrial value chain, we are putting together, and all these are value chains. What are you able to contribute to in the value chain? We all can't be vaccine scientists. We all can't be, but along the value chain, even just the plastics, we import plastics to be able to in the value chain of vaccine usage and transportation and storage, we actually use these plastics, but they are all being imported. So we are putting together scientists to ensure. So mobility, here we are looking at all solutions that are environmentally friendly, that decongest the city. For example, let me talk about KMC. We earlier alluded to it. Our
Kira
very
Motors
own
Corporation.
Kira Motors Corporation. The bus has over 30,000 parts. And scientists, innovators have actually been identified and can contribute some percentage of the parts along the value chain. So we are showing the country that we are able to do it. Out of these 165 innovators who submitted the nominees, we could not get all of them, but all of them are promising. Moreover, at that level of just a prototype.
Okay.
But we have those that have actually gone even to products. So that is our strategic direction.
Well, that's very important. And of course, I gave you all this time because I wanted to listen to these things. It's very important for us to know the strategic direction of where we go. Some, of course, are very striking here, like the pathogen economy. It just feels very bad that this is how bad we actually doing. But of course, I see all the other things, the beauty and apparel, of course, which also brings in the aspect of a boo-boo to us, because I see us now rolling out and, of course, pushing boo-boo to greater heights. You talked about the innovation ladder. I don't know whether it's different from what you said. Now, just teach me. I am a Shakespeare. You are the scientists. I am a Shakespeare, so you're the scientists. Please, let me understand the innovation ladder.
Okay, so thank you so much, Senior. And I'm going to, before I come to that question, I just wanted to add something from what my colleague has stated. I want to tell you that for the country to get to another level, there should be deliberate decisions and there should be deliberate actions at the national level. So there should be a direction, there should be a focus, there should be a futuristic thinking that, you know what, by 2030, by 2050, we will be here. Now, once there is a framework at a national level, now other entities plug in there. For example, the academic institutions now come to contribute to that strategic direction. The private sector, they now come to contribute to that particular direction. Any donor who will come and meet you as you're walking that line, a donor will find when you have already a direction and a focus that you're heading to. So by the time they contribute, there is already something that you are aiming to achieve by 2030. Now that is the direction that STI Office of the President is setting up to. Actually, we envision in the near future to even come up with a research and innovation agenda for the country, such that there can be guidance that, you know what, in the next 10 years, given the projection and given the prediction that has been made, given the futuristic thinking that has been guided by experts, the world will be here by 2030, and therefore let's focus our energy in this line. So that's what I wanted to raise out very seriously. And that's what this is what at the national level, at the Office of the President, that is what, through the leadership of Honorable Dr. Monica Musenero Masanza and His Excellency the President, are doing right now. Even in this transition period, they are setting up a clear framework which other entities will now come and work towards realizing. But why do we need innovation anyway? Senior, just to share with you, innovations help the country increase its productivity. Innovations help the country harness the knowledge and the brain of her population. I want to shock you that if you could be in the pinching room in Makerere University when we are looking at this 165 innovations, you will be amazed by how much the younger people are thinking. I should tell you that The youngest innovator was 9 years old, and then the highest innovator from our statistics was 71 years old.
We have an innovator at 9 years,
yes,
and an innovator at 70.
Exactly. So,
wow.
So this 165 actually has a wide range. Of, which is distributed across different age brackets. So if we want to harness the brain and the creativity of the people in Uganda, then you need to have innovation hubs. Then you need to have an innovation system. Otherwise, you will have a very bright person and wants to contribute, but has nowhere he or she can begin from. But also, innovation helps to build industries for the country. For example, let me tell you, among the innovation that people are voting right now, people are coming up with how to develop, for example, electric motorbike, the one which does not use fuel, so which is rechargeable, and so it is environmentally friendly. I also want to shock you that Kampala city is among the highly polluted cities in the whole world, by the way. And you know what? Do you have an idea of how many motorcycles we have here that use fuel? And so people are thinking, and therefore we can even make industries from such innovations. And that's why the country should promote innovation system and innovation hubs. So if the country is going to promote that, there should be deliberate efforts. So there should be enabling policies. There should be an environment, or there should be an avenue where somebody can just walk in and then bring their idea, and that idea should be harnessed.
Okay.
There should be financing mechanism such that if this person has a very bright idea that you have seen, it should die along the way. Because if you harness it and you support it financially and technically, it will get the other side.
Okay.
And will create jobs for over 1,000 people.
Okay.
So now that takes me to your question, the innovation ladder. The innovation ladder begins with an idea. So somebody can look at a problem, for example, poor refuse management in Kampala city. That, you know, when I'm moving around the city, the streets are dirty. So somebody says, this is a problem.
You first start by identifying a problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
And wanting to find a solution to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So when this person says, this is a problem, I think I can do something about this problem. So he can develop a number of ideas. He can even have over 10 ideas. Now that's the first stage of identifying a problem, but also putting down possible solutions. And so that person can even do research. And in terms of identifying a problem, quantifying it, they can even do some research around that area, and we call it basic research. So, but really, is this a big problem? Is it only here in Kampala, or it's across the entire Uganda? So the second stage, this person can now move this idea, can write a concept. Let's assume this youth says there is a problem of refuse management in Kampala, but I think if I developed maybe an automated bin that is maybe mobile, that maybe it moves on its own, or it is controlled by a robot, or it is something like that. So a person can now develop that, can write down that idea, can try to develop a robot. That's the second stage now. Now, the third stage, you may want to go and test actually to see whether the robot is doing what you intended it to do.
Exactly.
On your prototype.
Yeah, now actually, you developing it alone, that's stage number 2, which is the prototype now. At that level, you're not very sure whether actually it will do the work that you're really targeting it to do. So the third stage can be that you can go say, okay, let me go to Kampala, to maybe one of the streets in Kampala and try it out.
Yeah.
Now we call those field trials. If it's in medical, those are called clinical trials. And so once you've tried it and you're seeing it is working, always it may have some gaps that you will still go back into your research and you think through it. And also, by the way, for you to do this very well, you need a mentor. You may want somebody who has already done it before, even if it can be Ugandan or even outside the country, that person can support you in developing that idea forward. And so after those field trials that you've tried on the street of Kampala and you're seeing it is working, you may want to roll it maybe to other streets and maybe other suburbs of Kampala to see how it is working. And if you see that actually it has moved, then you can now do what we call commercialization or large-scale production.
Okay.
You can now say, okay, I think we can have 146 robots for 146 districts of Uganda. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the innovation ladder that we have. Okay. And we are making deliberate efforts to support people along that line. Okay. So by the time a person can come in at different levels. Okay. There are people who have already begun moving. They have already started the journey. Like now, how we are meeting some of them during the innovation award. Some of them already have prototypes. Okay. But some of them are already doing market trials to see how this is working out. Okay. So we are going to work with them to see how they can complete the final level of commercialization, where we envision industries, where we envision jobs, where we envision economic empowerment, where we envision social transformation for this country.
Very important. Nakaziwe, time is running out. I want to talk about the Innovation Awards. You talked about them. How does somebody participate now? What happens? Because I think you already have the innovators, the 165. You have them already in there. What is expected of them? What happens? And what is the need? Finally, then of course we also want to know how are you rallying the public to be part of the National Science Week? In the next 5 minutes, we need to be out of here.
Thank you very, very much. Yesterday, rather on Monday, we got our best 3 from each category. Okay. And
how many categories are these?
These are 14 categories that we had pitching on Monday.
Best 3 for every category.
Yes, best 3. Best 3. However, the winner will just be 1. So what we have running now, people pitched, we got the best 3 that we announced to the country yesterday at the media center, and the country is now voting. We have actually your voting line running across. So we have, they're right there on your screen. There are some industrial value chains that actually never had contestants or nominees under 18. So the number becomes less. Okay. Yes. So on the final day, on 10th November, at Kololo Airstrip, where the president will preside over the World Science Day as Uganda joins the rest of the world. The winners now that we are voting, your vote actually contributes 30% to your best nominee winning, and then the adjudicators, the panels that we had on Monday, will contribute 70%. So kindly vote, vote, vote. So the awards will then be given to our winners actually on Wednesday. So from this voting process, we shall tally with what the panel of judges got on Monday, and then we shall be able to get the final winner, who will be unveiled on Monday, on Wednesday.
Very important. And how are we involving the public, the clarion call out to the public to be part of the National Science Week? I want to see, how is the public now coming in, apart from the voting? What else should they do as we celebrate and commemorate the Science Week? Look at the media, look at look at the clergy, look at the cultural institutions, look at the civil society and all these other persons.
Okay, how the public is getting involved? Starting over the weekend, we are going to be setting up exhibition cities. Along still these 6 industrialized value chains.
Yes, that you talked
about.
A
whole city of mobility, a whole city of the pathogen economy, taking you through the journey, where we have been as a country, where we are, and where we intend to be.
Very good.
Yes. So you're invited to actually come over on Monday to come and see what is happening at Kololo Airstrip as the public. And then on Wednesday, we shall be having a few invited guests to attend the World Science Day, but our very own broadcaster here, the UBC, and other partners in the media will actually be broadcasting this national event of great importance, world event live, and also on our social media platforms, as we shall be sharing.
Just before Mr. Waleko comes on, still with you here, how easy is it for this government to support innovation? How easy is it? How accessible? Are the support, maybe finances or funds or research or whatever it is, to the innovators? Is it something that comes easily, or these innovators are dying on the way if we're trying and failing to reach to you actually at the ministry?
Strategic direction, we are talking. At the ministry, as part of the structure, we have proposed that one-stop center where we are having incubation and knowledge exchanging center, where you have a desk you're reaching out to, and we shall be able to harness everyone that is coming. Already we are seeing it. All those that I mentioned, the candidate vaccines, the UBV, the PCR kits, and others have been actually supported by government. You are seeing in the academia, you're seeing the government has actually really supported. But now with all, in addition to the strategic direction, we have a home for scientists, for innovators at the ministry.
Okay, very important. Mr. Waleko, finally from you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And as I wind up, I just want to thank the innovators who were able to give us to submit their applications to the vetting team and the judges. What I want to inform the public is that STI, Office of the President, with the leadership of Honorable Dr. Monica Musenero, is deliberate on supporting even these identified ones. We are going to support them. We are already in conversation with a number of partners that are willing to hold these people's hands, that are willing to fund some of their innovations. But like I told you in the beginning, that the government should set the stage, the government should take the leadership, the government should take deliberate efforts to support her citizens if we are to be somewhere. And the good news is that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, is already doing it.
He's actually the major advocate.
Is the major advocate
for science and innovation in the country. Yes, so you're welcome. But as the ministry, STI, OP, we actually are looking out for products. Long have we been at a point of not churning out products on the market. Ask me about a vaccine made here. Ask me about a number of therapeutics. Ask me about our own engines. You won't find so much. But now the strategic direction, go through the ladder, and we end at actually a product. That's what we are trying along the value chain. Finally, we want a product, and then we commercialize and industrialize.
Well, I can't thank you enough. Thank you very much. Mr. Abel Wilson Walekwa is an epidemiologist from the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovations and the Office of the President. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And to also thank you so much, Brendan Nakaziwe, the chairperson of Organizing Committee of the Science and Technology. Is it so?
Of the National Science Week that is going to culminate into the World Science Day.
Thank you very much, Brendan Nakaziwe, chairperson of the organizing committee of this. And of course, calling on to the public to be part of the Science Week, like you heard from the experts here. Very good things coming out of Uganda, and we need to support our own. Now, hearing about 4 candidate vaccines at animal trial, I think, is also something worth mentioning or talking about. And of course, someday we think we will be there. It is the way to go, and we think that by the grace of God, one day we will be that country to also say this is coming from Uganda. And of course, it is us to support our own initiatives, our own innovators, and our own innovations every which way it takes us. My name is Jagana Semakola Ziksoka, just wishing you all the best, and to promise you that we'll be part of the national, we'll be part of the World Science Day on the 10th of November. A very good morning for today, and to just remind you that Charles Odongfo will also be coming on at 10 p.m. Today is a Wednesday with Behind the Headlines. For God and my country, good morning and stay blessed. Thank you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.